Okay, so Dragonstorm, named after its namesake here. Search your library for a dragon permanent card, put it onto the battlefield, and then shuffle. Has storm, so you get to copy it. So the basic idea of this deck is you cast Faithless Looting to discard Dragonstorm into the bin. Then you cast Mizzix Mastery to recast Dragonstorm. And then you want at least Storm of 2, so you'll generally do this in the same turn. You'll like looting this into the bin and then Mizzix Mastery right away. And then with fishing up 3 dragons from the deck, we can deal 20 damage to the opponent by grabbing a Lathliss Dragon Queen. And then Terror of the Peak comes into play as your second dragon, which creates a dragon token with Lathliss, which deals 10 damage directly to your opponent. Then you get a second Terror of the Peak, which comes into play, dealing damage from the first Terror of the Peak for another 5. And then it creates another dragon token, which triggers both your Terror of the Peaks, dealing a total of 10. So there is the Terror of the Bladewing, the red-black dragon that has a guaranteed infinite combo with this archetype, and we had played that last week or the week before, and I wasn't a huge fan of that combo because not being able to actually cast your dragon spell when you draw it feels really clunky, whereas with this deck, especially in the controlling matchups, you can literally just like cast flying 5/4s and 6/6s and just beat your opponent down. So it puts them at this kind of awkward tension in the interactive matchups where like they have to respect your ability to just cast your things, but they also have to respect your ability to combo. So they can't just like pull out their removal and sweepers, which means they're going to hit wrong half problem against you more frequently. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games with this and see how it goes this morning. Thank you for the 2/3 of a year, Sunfaro. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Midway Monster, thank you for the over 2.5 years. Good morning, good morning. Yeah, S tier really knocked it out of the park. They do really excellent work. We're like a real stream now, chat. I can call myself a professional finally. Yeah, this is actually pretty good, right? I think we chill on the lootings for now. Yes, yeah, everything being nice and integrated and feeling uniform was a big part of what I wanted with the rebrand. Previously, everything had been a little bit disjointed for sure. So I actually want to, so we hit the Mizzix Mastery. I actually want to hold the looting here, I think. I'm going to discard the redundant Terror of the Peaks. Because remember, with this build of the combo, we do need Storm of 2. So I'll want to be able to, cast a 1-mana spell before we mastery. Yikes. Alright, we're gonna kill their Thalia in response here, but I assume my Mizzix Mastery is about to head on a trip to exile. It won't stop, send help. What's going on, Blade Tycon? Thank you for the 26 months. Welcome back. Houdini, thanks for the 1/4 of a year. Pull this up slightly so it doesn't overlap cards in hand. I think we're just chilling for the time being. Probably going to kill Spellbinder, make a treasure. One of the things that's worth noting about matchups like this too is even though if we can't get to Storm of 2 for the combo, we can still what's the word? We can just like go off with Storm as 1 and the dragons probably kill the opponent. Okay, explicitly left a green up here, so I wonder what they're fetching with this Ranger Captain. Interesting. Why would they leave green up? We'll start here. Want to try and find a land. Definitely don't need Dragonstorms. Okay, and then this is 6 total mana. So if we hit an untapped land next turn, we can Mizzix Mastery for lethal. And we can lead on Faithless Looting. Okay, and that works. We'll start here. Oh, Ranger Captain does stop the combo, doesn't it? That's fine. We have second mastery, right? And we have two Dragonstorms. This matchup's probably pretty difficult for us. They have Thalias and Spellbinders and Ranger Captains. Okay, I'm gonna concede to a second Ranger Captain here. Maybe we could do that. We have Sweltering Suns. I'm gonna bring in a bunch of removal post board. And this matchup's actually a good example of why I like this variation of the deck as opposed to the graveyard-based variation, because honestly, I think the appropriate way to approach this matchup is we kind of just turn into blue-red dragon control post board here. I'm going to leave some Mizzix Masteries in to like flashback our removal spells and stuff, but like, especially with Expressive Iteration being able to generate card advantage for us, I think we just like board in our Planeswalkers and our extra sweepers and removal and just like plan to cast our spells. First time I saw Jeff was on a deck highlight at SCG for Rug Flash. I remember looking at that pile of cards thinking this guy must be the prophet himself. And now with those overlays, I'm happy for you and the accomplishments of Hoaglandia. Thanks for the biddies. Never kept 7. Yeah, I think that Teamer Flash deck actually holds my record for highest win rate in Tournament Magic over a sustained sample size. I think by the time that season finished, I had over 100 sanctioned matches with that deck at like a 70% win rate or something very absurd like that. We're just chilling. One of the things to note about Faithless Looting is that you really don't want to cast Faithless Looting until you have something in your hand you actively want to be discarding. I'm like, I kind of don't mind most of my hand right now, so I think we're just chill. But the Knuckleblade special. No, Teamer Flash was, what's it called? It was Yeva Nature's Herald. Just go ahead and kill the captain here. Yeva, Nature's Herald, Wolfear Avenger, Snapcaster Mage. So Kato, thanks for the half a year, and Flaming Swag, welcome back for the 20th month. Alright, so we start with Expressive Iteration, see where we go from here. Kind of hoping to find a deal 2 here. Yikes. Yikes, I think we might be dead, fam. I guess we will looting now, because we're kind of looking for cheap spot removal / sweepers. Do I listen to Critical Role? I do not. I think I want Iteration rather than Chandra here. We're taking 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 this turn down to 8. Down Down to 7. Down to 4. I think that's the game, right? Not surprised to see us lose that matchup. I think that one's pretty exceptionally bad for us. Carry turn, if you're in chat, I see your message on Discord. So I'll have to pass this feedback along to Twitch again, because it's something I've sent them a couple of times over the years, but something that's really shitty that Twitch does is your sub gift badge icon only shows up if you've gifted a sub in the last 30 days. And I've passed along a couple of times now that it just needs to be like the bit badge, where like it should just be there all the time. I'm sure it counts as a feature, but it's bad. thanks for the sub gift, bringing you to an incredible 111 sub gifts on the channel. Sand's pretty good. Got iteration to dig for mana. We got some interaction. Got part of our combo. Got a dragon. Welcome to chat, Nubby. This match is probably not too terrible for us. They're a little bit slow and fair, and they don't really interact with us. Yeah, the folks that did the design work really knocked it out of the park. I don't think anybody else on doing design work on Twitch is quite up to the level that they are. Oh, I actually have to discard the hand size here, don't I? It's a little awkward. That's fine. It's like a pseudo looting, basically. Like draw 2, discard 1. What are we ditching here? It's probably just Fumarole, right? The sweeper should be enough to clear things out. And this will be another good example, like I talked about, where you just like kind of play fair. Well, like Sweltering Suns this turn, or do nothing, and then we'll get to like dragon into whatever. It's for the follow flopper. Oh, you know what? We can just grab Magma Opus here, right? And then next turn we can go ditch Opus, Mastery Opus. Horn and Silence. Fresh subs have always had a form of trowel, to be fair. It was just a less good-looking trowel previously. You gotta toil in the fields in Hoaglandia for a little bit before you work your way up to knighthood. Everybody does their time. Yeah, we're playing these dual lands because we have a number of snow payoffs in our deck. Here there be dragons. Oh, that's a great draw. So I was gonna say, Sweltering Suns can kill the Devils a little awkward because they get to kill our Terror, but now we can Lathliss, and then the Terror trigger will kill the Devil for us. And again, like, this is just, you know, talking about the 2 different ways you can play the combo in this deck. That really highlights why I prefer the Terror Queen build, because there's so many fair decks in this format where, like, you just, like, do that. You just, like, cast a Terror and cast another Terror, cast a Terror and cast a Queen, and suddenly they just can't win the game anymore. I think I'm going to trim Fumarole here. Its upside of making mana is largely mitigated by the fact that they frequently have an Oven. Anger is fine. Abrade's a good clean out tool because we do want ways to kill Devil. The rest of this seems pretty reasonable. Thanks for the follow, Zach. Patches. Yeah, the new badge redesigns have half-year badges too, so you get new ones at like 18 months, 30 months, etc., 42 months. Well, this hand's like a Faithless Looting away from being really sweet. So the Biddy Sheriff. In all your Magic experience, what has been my favorite ban? They banned Teferi Time Raveler in Historic. God bless them. Can I get the 7 back? Is that a request I can make? Yeah, the indestructible text on Soul Sear isn't really relevant. It's definitely just the, actually just the 7 with 1 less card. Actually just the deal 5 for 3. That is relevant. You gotta be able to kill larger threats like Questing Beast, Scroll Spellbreaker, etc. We just clean out our friends here, right? Born in Arson. Teferi made it all the way through Standard without a ban, basically, because Wizards tend, for a long time, even still today, right, like we see with Epiphany, is very hesitant to utilize their ban list as a tool to balance their formats. They are not a big fan of using the tools they have at their disposal. So I'm actually going to wait on this Faithless Looting, and the reason why we are waiting on the Faithless Looting is not only does it give us 1 more card to find Dragonstorm with it, but this can be our extra storm count next turn to make the Dragonstorm be lethal. Well, I guess with food it technically won't be lethal if they like eat a food here, but it'll be close enough. We'll like deal a bunch, then have a bunch of dragons in play. Oh yeah, that's true. I forgot they discarded a Mizzix Mastery. So yeah, if we hit a Dragonstorm here, they're dead even if they gain life, because we'll get to get a bunch of dragons. Hey, that'll do, pig. That'll do. Reach into the fridge and eat some of their food here. Well, not eat their food, but like put our hands all over their food. very unsanitary. Have some germs. I'm not gonna eat any of this, but I'm gonna lick it real quick. Can't attack with this, they'll just block and loop. What's going on, Marty? Good morning. Ooh, I think that's our first 4.5-year sub badge we've had in chat this morning. Almost to the 5-year. Are Corvold in my future? Sure. Have us a dragon off. If you want to see the full series of sub badges that go all the way through the grip, they go through 7.5 years. I posted them in the subs Discord server for people that are wondering. BT dubs. I think we start here. We find the perfect hits are untapped land plus Dragonstorm here. Okay, we found one of the two. Now the question is, can we survive till next turn? Thanks for the over 2.5 years, Eambot. Welcome back. Think I just pass. I need to chump with the queen next turn, right? This thing's about to be huge. Well, so interesting dynamic. I actually think there's a good chance that Jeskai creativity is a bit better than Jeskai control without memory lapse. So, for people that didn't follow the metagame previously, thanks for the 13 months, Bauerstein. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Jeskai control beat Jeskai creativity in the mirror match, which meant creativity got pushed out because Jeskai control was popular. So because memory lapse has made Jeskai control less popular, I think a lot of creativity's good matchups, like food, for example, and the various tribal decks, have actually gotten more popular. So I think there's a good chance that the removing memory lapse from the format actually made creativity the better of the two Jeskai decks. I don't think they can generate 6 triggers here to kill my queen. Gruul beat sticks. I mean, have you seen, does Shamans count? Shamans is a Gruul deck. Thanks for the 7 months, Midnights. Shamans is really, really good. It was our daily deck digest video yesterday. If you're not keeping up on Daily Deck Digest, you don't have a ton of time to consume my content, Daily Deck Digest is the best way to get the best of the content that I make. It is a 30 to 40 minute video 7 days a week that we each highlight the best decks I have played most recently on stream. Thanks, Koi Cricket. I don't think we die here, so I'm taking 2 more down to... So I'm gonna end up at 7, and they can loop the cat. I don't think cat plus devil kills me here, right? So we get to go queen. Into terror. Make a friend. Tumos, thank you for the 74 months. And Talran, thank you for the 45 months. You both have been around for a long while, and I appreciate the support. Good stuff. So I got to see a fair game execution there as well as an unfair game execution. Feels good, man. I think I want more Prismari Command. The treasure this makes is really nice. I don't know what I want to trim though to fit it in. These are all basically untouchable. Could honestly kind of even want more Magma Opus. I'll just like give up the frostbites. Could see boarding these being okay. Do we need Test of Talents? So what is our... So if my main deck looks like this, I want 7-ish cards for control decks. And I've got... Because I want to cut these cards here. And we've got 4 Chandras. And then, honestly, some Soul Guide Lanterns could even come in there. Leave 2 Soul Guides in the board. And what do we think's the best counter spell for what this deck is doing? What do we care about out of the control decks? Probably Mystic Dispute, right? Because we mostly want to be countering their counters that like also has some flexibility. Also has some flexibility in other places. I think I want Mystic Dispute. My wild cards are a little bit nervous. I mean, I think a lot of the cards of this deck, well, I guess I can't take it. If you, Terror of the Peaks and Lathliss are a little bit of a narrow craft. Most of the rest of the cards in here are pretty straightforward, though. Oh, I guess Dragonstorm's a rare, too. Dragonstorm was a historic anthology. If you didn't pick up that historic anthology. Completeness. Yeah, seems fine. Some selection, plenty of lands, piece of interaction, half our combo. You love to see it. Man, my desk is just in full does not want to go up mode this morning. Overgrown Tomb, Shambling Ghast, Concede. We're gonna click submit. I wonder if they just like kept a 1-lander and missed or if they have to go somewhere. Yeah, Malevolent Hermit is a decent shout. I could see that being a reasonable card for that dispute slots that we just made. I don't hate that idea at all. Especially because in the control matchups, a lot of the times we're just going to be, like, casting our dragons. So, like, it leans into our, like, kind of fair beatdown plan. Yes, above my head shows the most recent shear of bits in chat as well as the most recent follower. And once the people working on the overlay stuff had a logistical issue with getting the most recent subscriber up there, but that'll be shown up there next week too once they get their issue sorted. Everything else was ready and we wanted to roll out. I've been waiting so long to show this stuff off, chat. It's great. They really did excellent work. Gap, thanks for the quarter of a year. Welcome back. Oh gosh, chat. You ready to end their whole career? Finish him. Used to watch you 5 years ago, but got out of Magic for a while. Glad to see you're still putting out great stuff. Well, welcome back, Gap. I often say people don't quit Magic, they just take breaks. It's a decent time to get back in. Historic and Standard are both in pretty okay spots on Magic Arena. If you're just coming back into Hoaglandia stuff, I do a little bit more than just Magic stuff these days. We still do Magic every day to start, but we do Pokemon Unite and other variety stuff in the afternoons. I mean, like, they get to do some damage and scry a little bit, but this is still a card disadvantage for them, right? Like, this is still technically a 4-for-1 for us. I think I want to treasure more than looting. My hand's pretty good at the moment. Start with Iteration, looking for another sweeper. And Library Exile, Faithless Looting. Ditch the Dragonstorm. Ditch the other looting. And I haven't played a land yet, and then we'll get to pass here. And then next turn, I have enough mana to solve the equation for mastery and then master the Dragonstorm for lethal. So the 9 months funk agenda, welcome back. They draw a Collected Company? Oh, they drew a land for the Woe Strider. Is Woe Strider lethal? Not quite, but close. Oh, you know what? The Blood Artist means they can get above 20, but the Fumarole will give me enough storm count, right? Because this is free. So we can go to my turn. We can say land. So we go Fumarole, target this. We get 3 mana back. Yes, the sub notification is in a different spot. I wanted to have it off at a place where it still had easy to see, but wasn't overlapping game content like the old one was. Oh, they sack it and then shit. Chat, did I just punt the game? Yeah, I had to target the Woe Strider. God damn it. You're talking and clicking at the same time. Am I dead? I think we're dead now, right? I've talked about this on stream before, but that's one of the rules of Magic that I think Magic would be a better game if that rule didn't exist. It's one of those things that obviously I've been playing Magic for 2 decades, so it doesn't catch me off guard that frequently, only when I'm really distracted and we're doing lots of different things. But it's one of the things that when new Magic players start the game, especially, it's incredibly unintuitive. Yeah, the fizzle rule. Yeah, we're gonna board in removal now, Rad. The opponent conceded game 1 without showing us any of their deck, really. So we didn't really get to sideboard for game 1. Yes, yeah, the H logo in the shield has Jester Cap in it. They did good, so they knocked it out of the park. A fizzle roll is one of those things. It's incredibly unintuitive. It's one of those things where when you explain it to a new player, they're always like, yeah, that doesn't make any sense why it works that way. Yeah, Runeterra is designed in a way that it would intuitively happen. That's the way. It's the way players expect their cards to work. Yes, and honestly, I'm kind of surprised that we still have the fizzle rule, because that's why damage doesn't use the stack anymore during combat. Yeah. Let's blow the minds of Magic Zoomers out there. In the Magic Boomer days, damage used to go on the stack during combat, so you could say, okay, my creature assigns combat damage to your creature, and yours assigns combat damage to me. Now, before the assigned damage actually happens, I'm gonna sacrifice my creature for an effect. Yeah, so you could... Sakura Tribelder is a great example. You could actually, to use Cat, the way it used to work, you could block with Cat, have it deal a damage to the thing it's blocking, and then sack it to Oven still. Were the original rules of Magic the Gathering. I think we just kill the priest, make a treasure token here. And similar to the, your spells fizzle, that was a very unintuitive, confusing, and silly rule, so they changed it. They made it more intuitive. And Library Exile, go again. And Library Exile. Well, the stack is actually pretty logically intuitive, especially for anybody that's done any type of software work. The stack's a well done rules thing that's consistent, and when you explain it to people, you're like, all right, last in, first out, this works how I expect it to work. Alright, we could get Citadel next turn. What are spells? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey, hey, 0 dropped frames on my end, Vornsmith. Well, turns out, chat, their hand was as bad as ours. What a weird match of Magic. Through game 2, opponent concedes very early, games 1 and 3. All right, we take those, I guess. Hey, Rich, thank you for the 43 months of support. It's a long time. Welcome back. Yeah, Comcast is true garbage tier. We're just discarding Opus this turn. Although against Jeskai Triome, maybe we're on the cast Magma Opus plan. Yeah, you know, honestly, I think I'm just gonna chill. So they're holding on to this Triome. Probably have a good number of spells, a good number of lands in hand. It just got even good without memory lapse. Yeah, super reasonable. If you missed it this week, you should take a peek at Meta Monday, where we talk about Jeskai post memory lapse based on some metrics that we have to look at. Always a good one-stop 15-minute video shop every Monday morning, letting you know what's going on in Standard and Historic. Yeah, one of the things to note about the way ISP providers work in the United States especially is that because most of them don't compete with each other, your quality of service can vary greatly depending on if there's competition in the area. Like, to give you a good example, a gigabit fiber provider moved into central Illinois where I live and started providing service here, and within 6 months of the gigabit provider moving into Illinois and offering service, Comcast started offering gigabit internet. Which, for reference, for people that don't understand why that's a big deal, it means they could have always been offering gigabit. They just chose not to because they didn't have anybody there to push them to improve their service. Yeah, before the fiber provider moved into the town where I live now, our options were 6 Mbps DSL or Comcast. It's one of those, to be political for a moment, it's one of the reasons why people who are libertarians are largely idiots. Because it's very clear from many industries, like the ISP industry is a good clean example that we're talking about, where capitalism does not breed innovation through competition because large companies under capitalism have found out there are cheaper, more profitable ways to make money, such as just like making deals and not needing to compete with each other. Hey, thanks for the raid, Zian. Hope you had a good stream. And we're just gonna start popping these off. They cycle the sensor, even if they have another one. Like, we've got another Opus, we've got some masteries. Hopefully one of these noodle sticks eventually. Well, that's rude. How am I supposed to Mizzix mastery my spell now, opponent? Yeah, barrier to entry into the industry is also an important factor as well. Yeah, I agree, Jaros. The fact that internet's not regulated like electricity or, you know, water or any other utilities by now, phone lines, is it's very silly. Thank you for the 26 months of support, Luna. Welcome back. Arguing with libertarians is like pulling your hair out because you basically have to start at the top and explain how a society works. Yeah, exactly. All right, can we dodge a second syncopate so I can Mizzix master one of these? We're actually at a point here where we could just like start hard casting Dragonstorms too. So, mistake here on the opponent's part. They should let Mizzix Mastery resolve and then counter the copied Magma Opus, because now I just get to mastery the Magma Opus. Hey, thanks for the half a year, Nesserel. Welcome back. Our opponent is a very charming individual. I think I'm going to pass for now because I have 9 lands in play. So if I wait to Faithless Looting next turn, I could cast Looting, play a land, play Dragonstorm for 1 storm count.
I'm not done yet.
Let's do damage to Planeswalkers. It does.
Not going to win this.
Okay.
I suppose that's how it was meant to happen.
I mean, I'd assume the opponent's playing Starls for budget reasons, right? And to be fair, the Starls are like slightly better in this format where your other dual lands have land types. They're obviously still worse than some of the other lands you could play, but they're not that bad here. And if you're playing on a budget, it's like more than reasonable to be playing them. All right, we take those. And we kind of talked about this when we were building the sideboard earlier. We'll board out Fumaroles and Sweltering Suns. We'll bring in Mystic Disputes and Chandras. Honestly, the Soul Sears might be playable here, right? They kill Narsets and they kill Tefreeze after he upticks. Okay, I think I'm kind of into that. We'll trim a Faithless Looting in case they have Graveyard Hate. It does kill Opus tokens too, yeah. The number of fair games of Magic you get to win with this build just feel really good. All of the fast food places in the town where I live here in central Illinois are now paying their people $14 an hour at a minimum, and my Taco Bell still costs the same, chat. It's really weird. I think I'm gonna chill for the time being. I want to hold up Dispute here, so we'll wait to Expressive Iteration next turn when I can still have Dispute up guaranteed afterwards. Mastery to hand sounds lovely. Deck, exile. We'll shock this in, and we'll looting this turn. Or do we do this tapped? Now, nah, there's no way this mastery resolves. Ditch Dragonstorm, ditch tap land. Okay, so we might be in a position to kill them next turn. If they have, I guess they could have Dovin's Veto. So I'm just gonna go ahead and again, if this just resolves, it's not lethal, but it puts enough dragons into play that we probably win. And if they counterspell it with anything other than Veto here, we get to dispute it, and then we will have lethal. Could just be Dovin's Veto, though. I mean, if they don't have Wrath of God, they can't win the game. And like I said, one of the things that's nice about this build is even though this isn't deterministic, a lot of people against these spell-based combo decks pull their sweepers out post-board to have more counters and other interaction. So you kind of get them in this kind of awkward spot where this isn't lethal this turn, but they can no longer win the game. Ooh, that's a good shout, Andrew. The fact that Hermit lets you get value off of Faithless Looting, too. Probably just doing a 5-stack in Unite today, especially since we started a little bit early with it yesterday. And this deck's going well, and the next deck we're going to be playing today is pretty reasonable also. The Gengar games were gas yesterday. I have a Slowbro highlight that published on the Pokemon YouTube channel this morning. And those were offline games I recorded, so you won't have seen those before even if you watch all my Unite stuff live. And then I pulled the best Gengar games for tomorrow. Yes, adding can't be countered to your spells is also good as well. Well, that's a rude little dorko. Did someone report our dragon deck to the IRS, chat? I promise I've paid my taxes. I think we're just setting up for a fair dragon game here, huh? But chat, my dragon deck doesn't even make $400,000 a year. I was told its taxes wouldn't be going up. Okay, so we did this earlier. I do think this matchup's hard regardless of how we board, but we're basically just, oh, that's not the one I wanted to cut. We're basically just cutting our combo here and boarding into blue-red control with Chandras and Dragons as finishers. Actually, I'd probably keep a Mizzix Mastery, because it flashes back sweepers and stuff, and it's fine with Magma Opus as well. Let's do this. We cut Faithless Looting, we'll go back into a lower tax bracket. God bless. I don't really know that I have ideas for emote redesigns. I'm also relatively happy with the emotes that we have. I don't know that you need something like Azkinta against control. Would be my response to your question.
Expand, she's upstairs. Because I'm working, dude. Mom should be in her office, so when she gets a break, she can make your sandwich, okay? She's playing a game? Well, she could definitely help you make a sandwich after she finishes her game.
Fridays. For those of you that didn't catch the interaction with Declan, Dad, can you come upstairs and make me a sandwich? Ask your mom when she's done with her meeting at work. She's not in a meeting, Dad. She's playing a game. All right, well, wait for her match to be finished. Yeah, the kids school has parent-teacher conferences today. Wow, this is heckin' rude. They spellbindered Fumarole and then Dranith magistrated me, so I can't cast it. It's super cheeky. Valari, thanks for the third of a year. Welcome back. Good morning, good morning. They have a collected company here. We're super dead. Unless this full breaks. Yeah, this matchup just seems impossible. It's the second time we've hit green-white in this set. And I genuinely don't think there's anything you could do to improve the matchup, so I'm just gonna ignore it. The opponent's deck has a good number of polarized matchups. Similar to how we're close to 0% against it, it's close to 0% against things like shamans. It is, Martian, yeah. Yeah, if you pay 5 snow mana for the increased cost, or like you pay 4 with the Thalia out, you get 4 back. Thanks, Bryn. Yeah, they did, artist did an excellent job. Was Chandra not a board wipe there? Well, they had an X4. And they had an X4 and they had a actually they had two X4s, right? Because they were untapping, which was gonna let them when they untapped, they were going to get to play another human, making the Thalia's Lieutenant also bigger. No, we only played 2 decks yesterday. Yesterday's sets of Magic were a little bit rough and we started Pokemon Unite early. Today's been much better. I think I'm just gonna pass for now. I'm gonna loot, make a treasure here. Looking for an untapped land, ideally. Shaman Sedate, maybe. We'll see how these other 2 decks go. I'm planning to play red-white mid-range after this, and if this and red-white have a good run, we'll probably save Shamans for next week. Well, 3 more looks at a land. Gosh, holy crap. That's super unlucky. I guess looting gives us 2 more looks. At least they're just like sitting on these 2 things, not really doing much else. All right, we did it. We got there. Hey, if they just keep farting around, we have, we technically don't have lethal, but we have, like, lethal enough.
Uncultured monsters. My bloodline flows through you.
So they are at 28, which means we don't have deterministic lethal here. But we can Fumarole into Mizzix Mastery for a bunch of dragons, kill their board, deal some damage, have a big board. We can Fumarole again. We can knock, because it makes colorless mana. Cling game 1 would be kind of unlikely out of their deck. They could have a piece of spot removal. They could have like a Heartless Act here. And this is still fine, because I get to go terror into terror, and then this will shoot Gifted Aetherborn. And I still have 2 things in play here, with these other dragons left over in my hand. And we'll take this trade here. And Library Exile.
Mortals never learn.
Just gonna go ahead and finish Sorin here.
These childish games bore me.
I want to play Queen before the next Terror to maximize my number of threats in case they have more removal here. Yeah, and again, just a good example of, like, our combo wasn't technically deterministic, but it was, like, solidly just like, yeah, this is good enough. Unreal Me, thank you for the 10 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Oh, that's something in the... It looks like the notification is saying the current badge, not the total months. Get that fixed. The thing that draws cards is a 4/4 actually. Soul Sear could still be relevant here. Let's start here with just the cheap removal and pull out the tutors. I don't think we need to be turboing for the combo here. Thanks for the 23 months, Spank. Welcome back. That's fine. Need some lands, but we're on the draw and has 2 pieces of interaction. But it took a couple of mulligans here. Gonna go ahead and fetch now. Get my auto pass value in. It's pretty good. I keep the dragons. We'll keep Frostbite rather than the Fumarole, because Frostbite can kill the Faceless Haven in a pinch, or the Hive of the Itinerant. Some brutal mind rots. I think I want to wait on Terror for post-Queen. Maybe that's just wrong. Especially with Castle Lock Thwain in play now. Soul Shadow. Opponent's playing all the standard legal cards. Their utility lands really giving us the business in terms of the grind here. I guess we'll just pass, and then we'll, like, end step, bin the Magma Opus, and we can untap in Queen. I think I want to Frostbite this so they can't gain life here, because any life they gain turns into more resources via the castle. No attacks implies that they're valuing. I guess they could have drawn a card there, right? It means they want a Heartless Act plus draw a card. For the 4 months. Lacey, welcome back. Yikes. Mizzix Mastery here could pull us back into the game on the Magma Opus. 2 lands. Not gonna do it. So, between their Mind Rots and other things attacking our graveyard, I think I actually want... I think I want these Planeswalkers, since they're trying to be a little bit more grindy. We will, like, trim the combo around the edges here a little bit. Like, ditch a couple of looting, ditch these. I think Mastery, flashing back various removal spells is fine, so we'll leave those in. Maybe we trim one of these anyways, bring in a removal spell. And this is, well, again, one of the nice things we can do post-board in the non-graveyard-based version of this deck. We kind of pull off of that graveyard plan a little bit and play a little bit more fair. Okay. Find that untapped land in our first 2 draws. We'll be able to Opus on 3. Hey, Lacey. Welcome back. Alright, if we spike the untapped land here, we'll be in an incredible spot. If we don't and they have a go blank, we're going to be pretty bad off. Good shit. Lily Bovine, thanks for the 15 months. Welcome back. Deal. You've killed my creature that drew me some cards. Hey, Havs. Thanks for the 3rd of the year. Welcome back. Deal. Assume they're gonna take Terror here. think I'm just gonna cycle the Sweltering Suns. Leave the Terror of Peaks is interesting. Torch of Defiance is so good. We're gonna play red-white mid-range / control and historic after this. And it's a 4x Chandra deck. Hey, thanks for the 20 months, Distortion. Good morning, good morning. Welcome back. Chandra into Chandra is pretty good. Both of us stumbled there a little bit. Opponent stumbling a little bit worse than we did, obviously. You did Terran Terror. We changed the distribution of where the castle appears. Castle icons start at 2 years now. And then you get a chalice, a throne, and eventually your own jester cap at the later months. Hey, I'm glad you're liking Untapped, little Kinsey. They make good stuff. Their Twitch overlay is second to none. I do my master's on. My master's project or thesis or whatever you want to call it was based around analyzing network paths using Python, looking for specific types of matchings. I think we have a command. Yeah, look at that. There's my master's thesis about graph colorings. Chat, I wrote that a decade ago. Don't ask me questions about it. Just go read it and pretend you understand. Feel smart. I think even with this Bone Crusher Giant, we're cycling one of these. We'll probably go tapped land, Sun, clear this out this turn, but I'll dig a little bit deeper here. Yeah, I love Python. All my custom streaming tools I've written for myself are written in Python. Is my preferred language. My GitHub page isn't particularly active anymore, but if you take a look at it, it's mostly Python code. I think Standard's alright. I just haven't really had any Standard deck submissions. So I have 3 or 4 deck submissions waiting to be played that have been submitted in the last day, and they're all historic decks. I'm gonna grab Magma Opus here for down the line, I think. We played 2 standard decks yesterday? Yeah, we played 2 standard decks yesterday. Did we? I forget. We played at least 1. I think it was 2. Historic is definitely more diverse than standard. There's a bigger card pool for people to brew bad decks with. Does our Grixis opponent strike you as someone who has counterspells, chat? Planning on playing Paper Magic in the future. Nah, not likely. Pandemic coming to an end. LOL. It's good. It's good to see there's still people in the world that haven't had their optimism beaten out of them. Hey, chat. You know how we get flu shots every season? Or you should be getting your flu shot every season? Those flu shots are the remnants of the 1918 or 1919, whatever that was, flu pandemic. COVID's not going to go anywhere. We're just going to get vaccines that are more optimized and treatments that are more efficient. Thanks for the storm count. For the people having the discussion of religion in chat, could you take it to a DM or the subs Discord? Religious chat is always welcome in the politics channel in the subs Discord server, because let's be honest, most religion is political. But yeah, no problem. In general, I don't mind hitting on those topics a little bit, but when we move off of it on stream, it's good to not have it constantly in chat. I don't really know what they're doing. This implies they're more combo-y, I think. I wonder if they're Grixis turns in Historic. Feels like they could be Historic Grixis turns. Bring in a Chandra's and the Hermits and click submit for now, but we might revisit how we're sideboarding after this game. That's good enough. Like I said, I don't really know what their deck is doing, so like lands and spells with some card advantage sounds good. Yeah, we've played against a few Aldrin's Epiphany taking turns decks in Historic. It's definitely developing into a thing. Hey, thanks for the sub gift, good. I think we take solve the equation here, right? Because then we can go fishing for a Mizzix Mastery to get set up with. Oh no! Whatever will we discard, chat? I get what you're doing by referring to Memory Lapse as an Alzheimer's card, but let's not in my chat. Thanks. Yeah, that could definitely be an Epiphany. It could also be something like Saw It coming too, though. They are more likely to have a counterspell post-board. Any chance you could move the logo up so you can see the timer? Well, that shows that you don't really know. There's no timer there to see, Hunox. The timer doesn't appear unless I mouse over it or unless I'm really low on time, which basically means it never appears because I'm never low on time, chat. I do check it every now and then, but like when I check it, usually I audibly say what the time is because it means it could be relevant. So no, I'm pretty happy with the positioning of that there, I think. Oh, the arena game, you can't see my body. Yeah, sure, I can fix that. Yikes. I think we're dead, fam. I guess if I draw untapped land, I can solve into mastery and then mastery for lethal next turn if they tap out. Thanks for the biddies, masculine team. Ah, tank, kill you. It actually probably wasn't a tank. The Magma Opus takes a little while to click through. I want Soul Guide Lantern in this matchup. I definitely don't want Sweltering Suns. Fumarole actually seems kind of okay. Kills their Nickel Bolas and generates a storm count. I do 2 lanterns and a Fumarole. Say 11 months, Archmage, welcome back. Mostly just keeping lands and spells in the Thoughtseize matchup. Yikes. Hand, library, exile. Losing a Terror of the Peaks to exile like that is a huge blow. Makes our combo potential a lot worse. Very unfortunate. They had 20 lands in our deck. 51 cards. Yeah, what are the odds of missing there? They're probably higher than I think. So 51 cards, 20 hits, sample size 3. Yeah, wow, we're actually only 79% to find a land there. So 1 in 5 we're gonna miss on a land. Does Prowess trigger when you copy or storm a spell? It does not, but Magecraft does. It's the difference between Magecraft and Prowess. Thanks, username. You know, I'm probably supposed to hold on to this, actually. Because it can shatter a Gear Hulk when they eventually play one out. Like so. Oh, you know what? I'm probably supposed to wait for this to resolve and then do this with the Wanderer in play. Yeah, wow, Jawari Disruption. Yeah, I really flubbed the sequencing here. And they have a ton of pressure now too. That was bad on my part. Few different cards they could take here depending on the texture of their hand. Right on time, Soul Guide Lantern. Good beats. Hey, chat. This Malevolent Hermit is going the distance. It's going full speed. It's all alone in this time of need. Well, open on attacks here. Ah, we still have memory lapse at home, chat. Well, so Dragonstorm would have still gotten Storm 2 if it got cast. So when you're mastering a Storm spell, you do actually want to counter the mastery. It's when you're mastering Magma Opus that you want to let the master resolve and then counter the Opus copy. Hopefully this tank means they're just dead to mastery being cast again next turn. Iterate for me. Yes, you can mastery to get higher storm count. However, that would have been worse against Aether Gust, because then they could let the first one resolve and then Aether Gust the copied mastery, and then I no longer have a mastery to redraw, and I didn't need storm count last turn because I had already cast Expressive Iteration, so I went right for the Dragonstorm because it was lethal without the extra storm. So, this time we'll mastery the mastery, because we need the storm count. Okay, and this time they messed up. On that one, they should have masteried the copied mastery, because then I wouldn't have been able to redraw it. Because this exiles the card and then casts a copy, and copies can't be placed on top of my deck, because boomer card game. Gross. We were technically dead to their haul last turn. Their dojo just contains sphere. How many masteries are we through now? 2? Yeah. Terror plus queen is 10. That is not true. So, I don't think counterspells are inherently a problem so much as formats where you don't have enough efficient threats to get under them are a problem. I think that that's a kind of a format design issue more so than a counterspell issue. If you can get under like 3-mana counterspells efficiently, they're really not that big of a deal. I mean, Magic is a game that's built on mechanics that people find unfun. Magic is a game full of polarized experiences. The things that you hate are things that other people love, and the reasons you dislike the game are the only reasons other people play the game. Like, there's plenty of other card games out there that, like, don't have counterspells, and you can go check out one of those to see what the experience is like there, but, like, counterspells are a core part of the Magic experience at this point. So, as far as this deck goes, it's fine. I think not top tier by any means. I think the Thalia Esper Sentinel matchup is basically unwinnable, and I don't think there's anything you can do to change that. I think you're relatively competitive in most other things. I think I do definitely like the Lathliss Terror of the Peaks finish combo finisher as opposed to the Bladewing the Reason finisher, just because being able to kind of pull out of the graveyard plan and play more of a fair game in the postboard games tends to be very good in Historic with some consistency. So if you're looking to storm with dragons, I think something close to this is probably what I would prefer to have happen.